tonight on First at 9 this Thursday, the 11th of September 2025. Vacated. Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa vacates Vijayarama residence following the repealing of the President's Entitlements Act. Residents of Tangol gather in numbers to welcome his return to Carlton House. Tensions in Parliament. Tensions flare in Parliament as the Speaker's rejection of the no-confidence motion against the Deputy Defence Minister sparks heated debate. Recovering economy. Sri Lanka's economy is projected to grow by 3.1% in 2025, says the Finance Ministry. Revenue for the first half of the year exceeds 2 trillion rupees.
Kalin baby soap rupial 90කට. Kalin baby podi හැමෝටමයි.
From Derana, this is Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening, you're joining First at 9, brought to you by Sri Lanka's most trusted news source, Derana. I'm Tharindu Mahendra, joining you live with the latest in Sri Lanka and around the world. In your top story this evening, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa vacated his official residence in Vijayarama this afternoon in accordance with the President's Entitlements Repeal Act passed in Parliament yesterday. The former President's spokesperson Manoj Gamage stated that the residence will be officially handed over to the government in a week.
The President's Entitlements Repeal Bill was passed in Parliament yesterday by a 150-vote majority in the second reading vote, with 151 votes in favour and 1 against. The Act repeals the President's Entitlements Act No. 4 of 1986, thereby abolishing the allocation of state-funded residencies, monthly allowances, official transport, secretarial staff and other facilities for former presidents and the widows of late presidents. Prior to the enactment, former Presidents Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga, Mahinda Rajapaksa and Maithripala Sirisena were residing in their official residencies, while former Presidents Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Ranil Wickremesinghe were living in their personal residencies. Hema Premadasa, the widow of late President Ranasinghe Premadasa, vacated her official residence last year. It is reported that former President Maithripala Sirisena vacated his official residence yesterday, and former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga has announced that she is ready to hand over her official residence to the government. The Ministry of Public Administration, Provincial Councils and Local Government said it intends to study the President's Entitlements Repeal Act and take further action accordingly. Against this backdrop, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa vacated his official residence on Vijayarama Road, Colombo today and moved into his personal residence, Carlton House in Tangol. Buddhist clergy, foreign diplomats, politicians and a significant number of the public visited the Vijayarama residence to meet former President Mahinda Rajapaksa prior to his departure. The former president and his wife Shiranti Rajapaksa led the official residence at around 1:30 p.m. Meanwhile, former President Rajapaksa's spokesperson Manoj Gamage spoke to the media regarding the former president's departure.
I
think today is a joyful day for the government. Not only the government, but it is also a joyful day for the LTTE diaspora. If LTTE leader Velupille Prabhakaran were alive, he too would be overjoyed. A bill has been ratified repealing one of the country's laws, thereby revoking president's entitlements. Under such a legal situation, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa does not intend to remain here even for 24 or 48 hours. He will vacate this residence and move to Tangol. However, it will take at least a week to officially hand over this residence. Some furniture here belongs to the government. The residence will be officially handed over in a week.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa arrived at his personal residence in Tangol this evening. As he arrived, political figures and a significant number of the public had gathered to meet the former president. In the political arena, several parties commented on former President Mahinda Rajapaksa vacating his official residence.
If the government can take care of the family of Rohana Vijayveera, who destroyed and set public property ablaze, but is unable to do the same for the former leaders who eliminated terrorism from the country, that is hypocritical. The public will not tolerate that hypocrisy.
එනිසා මේ අය මේ රටට යම් වැඩක් කරපු මිනිස්සු.
These individuals are people who rendered a service to the country. It is necessary to take care of them, as there are similar programs in other countries to look after their former leaders. The reason for this is that during their 10 years as heads of state, they must be able to take decisions to protect the country's territorial integrity, sovereignty and independence. That is why such protection and facilities are provided to them during and after their presidency. Once their tenure ends, former leaders are taken care of for this very reason. If former President Mahinda Rajapaksa had not fulfilled his duty amid opposition from the whole world, current President Anura Dissanayake would not be able to visit Jaffna today and lay foundation stones for stadiums. This government was formed on the back of social, class and personal hatred.
පුද්ගල වෛරය විසින් ඇති කරපු ආණ්ඩුවක් තමයි මේ ආණ්ඩුව.
මේක ජනතාව බලාපොරොත්තු වෙච්ච දෙයක්.
This was something the public expected. No individual deserves to receive special privileges that are not available to the general public. We must consider the current socio-economic situation of the country. It is because of these privileges that for many years the ruling class lived as if they belonged to a different species. We took this decision as a way to support true representatives of the people who will enter politics in the future.
ජනතාවගේම ඇත්තම ජනතා නියෝජ්‍ය විදියට මේ ඉදිරියට දේශපාලන එන්න තියෙන පුද්ගලයන්ටත් උදව්වක් විදියට තමයි මේ ක්‍රියාමක ගන්නෙ.
නමුත් කාල්ටන් වලට ගියාට පස්සේ ආරක්ෂාව පොදු දින ආරක්ෂාව වගේ නැති කියලා කියන්නේ.
එහෙනම් එතන ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවානේ.
If he does not receive the same level of protection in Hambantota as he did in Colombo, what kind of country has he built over these past years? There is a serious issue right there. It cannot be so. If he liberated the country, it has to be the whole country, not just Colombo. So their statements are contradictory. The security that must be provided to a former president will be ensured under the supervision of the Defence Ministry. There will be no reductions in that regard.
පාදිලා තියෙනවා. ඒක කිසිම කප්පාදුවක් කරන්නේ නැහැ.
රුපියල් 8,900ක මාසික වාරිකයකට brand new TVS XL 100 යතුරු පැදියක් ගන්න.
A tense situation arose in Parliament today after the Speaker reiterated his rejection of the opposition's no-confidence motion against Deputy Minister of Defence, retired Major General Aruna Jayasekara. As a result of the uproar, the Speaker was compelled to adjourn the House for 10 minutes when opposition members gathered at the centre of the chamber in protest.
You made a statement yesterday regarding our no-confidence motion. We requested that the reports from the Attorney General and the Parliamentary Secretariat be provided to us for reference. I have submitted my statements to the Parliamentary Secretariat. I referred to both the reports and provided a complete response after reviewing them. If you are unwilling to serve justice to us, I am requesting that you at least allow this debate so justice can be served to the victims of the Easter Sunday attack. It is this Deputy Minister who answers questions in Parliament on behalf of the President. He is now a part of the executive. There is no logic in claiming that a no-confidence motion cannot be brought against someone holding such significant responsibility. The real issue began when one of the opposition MPs incorrectly claimed that a no-confidence motion cannot be brought against a deputy minister. Their own statement created this entire mess. Due to the heated situation, the Speaker announced the adjournment of parliamentary proceedings for 10 minutes.
ඔබතුමාලට වෙන විකල්ප තියෙනවා පාර්ලිමේන්තුව විනාඩි 10ක් හිටවනවා.
Simultaneously, opposition members came to the centre of the chamber and staged a protest. Proceedings resumed after 10 minutes. Regarding Deputy Minister Aruna Jayasekara, we have already informed the House that if Parliament approves, we are ready to proceed with the debate. A no-confidence motion can be brought against anyone within the parliamentary framework. What we saw today were outdated, time-wasting tactics, threats against the Speaker and talk of bringing in a no-confidence motion against you if your decision wasn't in their favour. This is politics that disregard the public mandate. Speaker, their only goal today was to disrupt proceedings. elections. Nothing more.
අපි ඔබතුමාට කියන්න කැමති අද මෙතන තිබෙන්නේ කඩාකප්පල් කිරීමේ උරුමනාවක් විසක් වෙන දෙයක් නෙමෙයි. කරුණාකරලා එහෙනම් එයාට කිසිම බලයකුත් නැත්තම්
If the Deputy Minister truly holds no authority, then I urge the commanders of the Triforces to disregard any orders or instructions from him. Speaker, if powers have not been formally vested in him, if it has not been gazetted, how can we accept his directives?
අපි පාර්ලිමේන්තුව අපි විනයගරුකව
Speaking with discipline in this house should not disadvantage us. 10 opposition MPs are attacking one of ours. Speaker, even you do not have the authority to allow such actions. Should we resort to the same behavior? We are confident we can defeat this no confidence motion with the support of MPs from just the Western province alone.
ස්නාහිර පළාතේ මන්ත්‍රීවරුන්ගේ පරද්දන්න පුළුවන්. හරිද? ගරු රවීන්ද්‍ර බණ්ඩාර මහතා ආරක්ෂක අමාත්‍යතුමාගේ ඇසීමට අර කතා නායකතුමනි මම ප්‍රශ්න යොමු කරනවා.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා යුද්ධ හමුදාව 391යි
පාර්ලිමේන්තුව කඩාකප්පල්
You should be aware of those trying to disrupt parliament. Do not allow that. You do not have the power to grant them that opportunity.
කඩාකප්පල් කරන බව දැන අකට අවස්ථාව දෙන්න එපා. ඔබතුමාට එහෙම බලයක් නැහැ. දැන් මෙයාලා සුද්ධවන්තයෝ මෙයාලා හොරු නෙමෙයි.
The government claims they are not corrupt and that they are not thieves. They say they will cut down on benefits and send corrupt individuals home. Can any member of this government openly declare they are not taking full salaries and allowances? This is the salary statement of one of your ministers, which I will table in parliament. He is receiving a 100,000 rupee office allowance and a 15,000 rupee transport allowance. The total monthly salary is 180,000 rupees credited directly to his bank account. Then a check is issued and sent to the party's fund. The JVP is the only political party in South Asia that is sustained, nurtured and flourished on the people's tax money.
එකම දේශපාලන පක්ෂය ජනතා විමුක්ති පෙරමුණ මම දැක්ක දැන් මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයා
I have seen how former presidents are visited by many when they vacate their residences. We have not stopped their pensions or security. But now, in an attempt to gain public sympathy, they claim they have been evicted and have nowhere to go. MP Chaminda Vijayasiri said, "We give our salaries to the party." To him, that's wrong. It's stealing public money. But there are people who steal even from their own parties, those who sold their positions for money. They take their full salary and still steal from the people, while pointing fingers at us for giving our salaries to support our party's operations.
Operations at the Sevanagala sugar factory resumed yesterday after the government offered compensation for 13,000 metric tons of charred sugarcane stalks and farmers recommenced supplying sugarcane to the factory. The decision to compensate charred sugarcane stalks was taken following a meeting between President Anura Dissanayake, Minister of Industry and Entrepreneurship Development Sunil Hadunetti and the factory administration on September 9th. Conflict arose between sugarcane farmers and the factory administration when the authorities refused to purchase charred sugarcane stalks after an unidentified group of individuals had set fire to the sugarcane cultivations. Subsequently, a collective of sugarcane farmers decided not to supply any sugarcane stalks to the Sevanagala factory until all charred sugarcane stalks are purchased. With the decision, the operations at the Sevanagala factory came to a temporary halt. Previously, authorities took steps to limit the stocks of sugarcane procured by the company due to the malfunctioning of a sugarcane cutter. Officials of the Ministry of Finance have stated that the country's economic growth for 2025 is expected to reach approximately 3.1%, a decrease from the 5% growth recorded last year. The announcement was made during a meeting with the Committee on Public Finance, where officials reviewed the country's income, expenditure and debt status for the first half of 2025. Total revenue collected during this period was 2.31 trillion rupees, exceeding the half-year estimate by 3%. Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka Customs Department reported a revenue of 996 billion rupees for the same period. Revenue from automobile imports stood at 429 billion rupees, with 220,026 vehicles imported, of which 154,537 have been cleared. It was also revealed that an alternative clearance process is being introduced to expedite container clearance at customs within 2 to 3 days. The Inland Revenue Department reported an income of 1.04 trillion rupees, surpassing its 6-month target. During the meeting, Committee Chairman Dr. Harsha De Silva instructed officials to update the Commission on the Ministry's tax policy regarding cigarettes.
හොඳම ෆෝන් එකක් ගන්න. ළඟම බාන්ස් එකට යන්න.
The Finance Ministry reveals that the Netherlands has approved a grant of €730,000 to support the ongoing design and construction of rural bridges project in Sri Lanka. Issuing a statement, the ministry states that this funding will address the project's additional financing requirements, further strengthening the long-standing development cooperation between the two countries. The Rural Bridges project aims to construct 162 rural bridges across Sri Lanka, enhancing mobility, connectivity and the quality of life in rural communities. As of September 2025, the project has achieved 96% physical progress, with 151 bridges already completed. The construction of all planned bridges is expected to be completed by February 2027, marking the successful conclusion of the project. With the latest grant, the total grant assistance from the Netherlands for the project now amounts to €18.9 million, representing around 37% of the total project cost. The Court of Appeal has issued notices to several parties, including the Minister of Lands and the Minister of Environment, in relation to a petition calling for the formulation of a national land management policy in Sri Lanka. The petition filed by the Centre for Environmental Justice was taken up today before a bench comprising Justices Dhammika Ganepola and Aditya Pathabandi. Appearing on behalf of the petitioners, Attorney-at-Law Ravindranath Dabare informed court that the lack of a national land management plan has led to a multitude of problems in the country, while also preventing the country from making optimal use of its land resources. After reviewing submissions, the Court of Appeal ordered notices to be issued to the Minister of Lands, the Minister of Environment, the Director General of Wildlife and several other respondents, requiring them to present their responses on November 28th. A lieutenant colonel who served as the commanding officer of the Palay Army Camp was arrested today by the Western North Crime Division for allegedly selling 260 rounds of T-56 ammunition to underworld figure Commando Salintha. Meanwhile, speaking in Parliament, Minister of Public Security Ananda Vijayapala stated that 15 major criminals with red notices hiding abroad in Russia, Oman and Dubai and India have been arrested, and extradition procedures are currently underway.
A close associate of infamous underworld figure Kehel Baddarapadme, who is being interrogated by the Western North Crime Division, has revealed that he received a consignment of T-56 rifle ammunition from a commanding officer of an army camp in Palay Nagar. Afterwards, the army officer, who was recognized as a lieutenant colonel, was summoned to the Western North Crime Division for questioning and was later arrested for allegedly selling 260 rounds of T-56 ammunition for 650,000 rupees to the underworld figure Commando Salintha, who was recently arrested in Jakarta, Indonesia. The arrestee, who has served in the army for 25 years, had previously served at the Commando Regiment headquarters in Ganemulla in 2017, where Commando Salintha had served under him. It is reported that the arrested army officer was later dismissed from the regiment due to a disciplinary issue. The suspect was handed over to the Criminal Investigation Department for further investigations. In the meantime, Minister of Public Security Ananda Vijayapala shared his thoughts on the ongoing investigations against recently arrested organised criminals.
From January 1st to September 9th this year, 105 organised crimes were reported. A total of 322 suspects were arrested, including 33 shooters, 24 motorcyclists and 265 individuals allegedly involving aiding and abetting the crimes. 1,698 firearms have been taken into custody from January 1st until September this year. 15 organised criminals hiding abroad, who were identified as major criminals and drug traffickers and against whom red notices were issued, have been arrested in Russia, Oman, Dubai and India. In accordance with the laws of these countries, necessary measures are being taken to extradite these criminals.
මෙම පුද්ගලයන් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට ගෙනීම සඳහා මේ වන විට අවශ්‍ය ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ගනිමින් තියෙනවා.
Welcome back. Alliance Finance Company, Sri Lanka's oldest operating non-banking financial institution, celebrated a historic milestone with the official listing of its social bond on the Colombo Stock Exchange. The market opening ceremony, held on the 8th of September, underscored AFC's role as a pioneer in driving sustainable and socially impactful finance in Sri Lanka. The bond proceeds will be directed towards projects that generate measurable social benefits, including the promotion of micro, small and medium enterprises, as well as rural entrepreneurs through value chain financing to stimulate economic growth and create employment opportunities. President Anura Dissanayake met with the newly appointed board of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce today at the Presidential Secretariat, focusing on a collaborative path to national economic development. The chamber, led by Chairperson Krishan Balendra, presented key proposals for the 2026 national budget, structured around 5 strategic areas, including trade facilitation, tourism and infrastructure, digital innovation, sector enablers and business reforms. The President outlined his government's integrated approach, blending state and private sector efforts to drive sustainable growth, improve public services and boost investor confidence. The Chamber highlighted progress from previous reform suggestions, with 17 proposals already adopted in the 2025 budget. Both sides reaffirmed their commitment to working together, particularly through public-private partnerships, to build a competitive, innovation-driven Sri Lankan economy. The Colombo Bourse closed in negative territory today as a result of price losses in counters such as Hatton National Bank, Cargill's and DFCC Bank. The benchmark ASPI lost 0.61% to close at 20,641.83, while the more liquid S&P Sri Lanka 20 decreased by 0.73% to end the day at 5,886.16. Market turnover was 6.5 billion rupees. Foreign participation in market activity remained at subdued levels, with foreigners closing as net buyers, purchasing shares worth 101 million rupees. With that, let's take a look at the day's foreign exchange rates. That's all for tonight from First at 9. For the latest developments around the clock, stay in touch with Ada Derana, the Sri Lankan news brand of international excellence. Thank you for joining. Have a great night.
For news and information you can trust 24 hours a day, visit adaderana.lk.